Hello, I'm Mark Naneman. This is Power Stuff. Today we're going to talk about how to auto-index or enumerate an array in Power Automate without any variables or loops, even if we don't want to. And what I mean by auto-index or enumerate is I mean taking a simple array. It would be an array like that has one column, no mapping, no key and value pairing. It's just going to be like an array that you would make from taking a comma-separated string and splitting it by the comma into a simple array. We're going to add in a column for the index of each item in the array. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the order the items originally in the array in. And we're going to do it without a variable. That's the way, that's the common workaround for this if you need it, is to make a integer variable and increment it in a loop through the array and then add it to a new array each time. But there's a way to do it without using the variable method and even without using a loop. You can do it all in a select action. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate right now. And let's just hop right over here into a little demo flow I've started. So this flow, and I guess real quickly, I'll say like some things that this is useful for. One thing it's useful for doing if you want to keep the original order available so you can like do some kind of sorting later and maybe sort it back to the original order. Another thing would be if you've got some kind of calculated column you want to add in, like you want to give it a calculated name like ORD or order 1, order 2, order 3, order 4 for each one in the array. That's a way you could use it to do that. Another thing it's useful for doing is in like I've demonstrated in other videos and articles, if sometimes when you want to say, an example would be if you want to patch, you want to insert new options into a choice set in Dataverse, you can take your new options that you want to go into the choice set for the choice column, and you just plug them into the choice set that you have in Dataverse. But you need to, you don't need to, but you would like to start with the last value for the last existing option in the choice set. So what you can do is you can grab that value out of Dataverse and then take your new options that you want to insert in and use this method to increment that last value that you had, the seed value, and you can increment it 1 for each of your new options and then plug them into the choice set with an API. And I've done another video on how to do that, and I've written an article on it. So let's just go in here real quickly. We're just going to do a as quick as possible demonstration of how to do this with a simple array. So I've got this manually triggered flow, and we've got input for a comma or line separated array. Let me go ahead and put that over here as the note, and I'll just call this string array. Okay. And now for right after that, I've got this compose new line. It's just a compose, and I went in here and I just pressed enter to add a line break, a new line reference, and that's used for splitting new lines. So if we copied a range out of Excel and pasted it into the input for this flow, we'd be able to split it by that new line character that's in that list. Or if we just typed in and hit enter, typed in one option, hit enter, typed in another option, hit enter, we can split by the new line there. Okay, this next compose is we're just splitting our input array. So we've got an expression here. Let's go ahead and, that's not right. Let's go ahead and rewrite this. So we got split, and we're going to do dynamic content, and we're going to look for our input string array right here. And we're going to split it by our compose new line output. And that's all we need to do there. Now, if we want to handle for, also handle for commas, so it can be either or commas or new lines, what I will do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this outputs new line. I'm going to say here, I'm going to say replace. And I'm going to comma, and then put comma in single quotes. And then I'm going to paste that new line and then put another parentheses. So now we're taking that string and we're looking for any commas that are in there and we're replacing them with new lines. And then we're splitting by the new line. Is there really a problem, or are you lying to me, Power Automate? Power Automate was lying. Okay, now we've split that. Now I'm going to do like a filter down here off of that new array we made, the split array. And we're going to filter out any blanks just in case there was a trailing comma or a trailing new line that ended up making us a blank item in the array. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say length. And just out of habit, I always do a coalesce here, even though it shouldn't be an issue, but I always do a coalesce just in case there's a null in the array and that causes a failure. So I'm going to say coalesce item, and then I'm going to put a blank, which is just 2 single quotes. So we're taking the length of either item or a blank, whichever one exists first. All right. Is there really a problem? There isn't really a problem. And here I'm going to say is greater than 0. And that's all I need to do there. So just for easier reference, let's I'm going to go ahead and add another compose. I'm kind of splitting this all up a little more than I would if I was building this flow for an actual solution, just for demonstration purposes. A lot of the stuff you could combine into less actions. I'm going to rename this compose start array. And it's just going to be the output of that filter. All right, so now what I'm going to do, this is where the magic happens. Let's do actually, it's not where the magic happens. The magic happens next. Just to be safe, we're going to redo our, we're going to rejoin this all, and this is for reference. So let me go ahead and rename this joined array string. And I'm going to say in the expression, I'm going to do a join on start array. I'm going to join each item with a comma. Okay, and you'll see what that's used for here. Now this is where the magic happens. Let's add a select. I don't know why select is underneath that other Dataverse stuff, but it was. Okay, for our input or the from on our select, we're going to take the start array. And then here we're going to do, let's do this. Let's call the first property value. And that's just going to be the current item in the array. So all we got to do there is type in item. It didn't like it. Why are you being difficult today? I don't know. Okay, here I'm going to say index for the next one. And this is where the magic happens. I'm going to type this expression in, I'm going to explain it as I go, and then I'll probably insert like a screenshot or a pop-up kind of explaining it a little better or in more detail. So what I'm going to do, I'll just work through the logic of this and build it. So the first step in this process is we need to split that joined string we made for reference. We need to split that by the current item. So every item in the array is in that string, item 1, comma, item 2, comma, item 3, comma. So whatever item we're on right now is in that string. So we take that string and we split it by the current item. So I'm going to say split. And I'm looking for that joined array string right there. And I'm splitting it by item parentheses. So at this point, what we've got is an array, and it should be 2 items. It should be everything in the string up to the current item, and then everything after the current item. We don't care about what comes after. We want what comes first. So let's say first. So now we're taking the first string from that split. And so if we're at the first item, that's going to be a blank. If we're at the second, third, if we're at some item in the middle, it's going to be all the items, item 1, comma, item 2, comma, item 3, comma, up to the current item. So we've got that string. So let's go ahead and split that again. And this time let's split it by the separator, which is a comma. So now what we've got is an array of all the items that comes before the current item. So to get the index, we would do a length. I got to spell it right. So we're doing a length on the array we have now. So now we're counting all the items up to the current item. And if we want to have our index be based on 0, so the first item is 0, what we would do is we would say add, or we could do sub, but I'm going to do add -1. Then I'll hit OK. There we go. So now we've got a value and an index column here. And let's just go ahead and save it. It always runs very slow when I'm doing a screencast. I don't know why it affects my internet speed, but it seems to. Okay. Or why it would affect Power Automate servers. All right, manually. Let's test manually. I didn't name the flow, so that's another thing I need to make sure to do. So let's just do item, I'll do item A, and I'll hit enter. I'll do my new lines. B, item C, item D, item E. Run flow. Fingers crossed, first time I've run this one. Let's see if we can do the first run without any errors. Usually it doesn't work that way. All right, we do have an error here. What happened? Someone's invoked with 1. It looks like our expression didn't save. It looks like the expression didn't save. It didn't save. Look at that. Look at that. I did all that work. You guys saw me. I know you saw me. You can vouch for me. Okay, so let's rebuild this. So that's so annoying. Okay, so we're splitting by... Whoops. I fat fingered that. And I did it again. All right, now I'm going to hit Control A, Control C to copy, and I'm going to hit Update. And looks like we did it right this time. So let's hop back in here and double check. Okay, Update. Let's try it. Try 2, and we'll just use that last failed run. Again. Yeah. Power Automate's being funny today. Okay, now we got our success. So this is our inputs, and now let's click here and check our outputs. Let me move this over a little bit. All right, so here we go. We've got item A, index of 0, item B, index of 1, item C, index of 2, item D, index of 3, and item E, index of 4. So that's how you can add a new index column to a simple array in Power Automate to mimic, say, a Python enumerate function. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe and share it and all that. Thanks so much for watching.